from or to of the EC2 instances. And security group contains only allow rules. Okay. Did you ever notice that I haven't attached any deny rule for HTTPS? Am I? Haven't I attached any deny rule for HTTPS 443 port number?
No.
No. So it's a very important concept in such a way that security groups will not contain any deny rules. It will contain only allow rules. So it has only explicit allow, not explicit deny. If you don't mention the port number, like if you don't mention the incoming traffic, like the inbound rule port number, like HTTPS, it not will allow. Like you don't want to deny like explicitly. Security groups will come to know that yes, I haven't mentioned with any kind of inbound traffic, which with what can I say, port ID as 443, I am not going to allow it. And rule can inference by IP, as I said, IP with port number. You can also have a port number, or it can also, the traffic can also come from another security group. We're going to see some examples towards it, right? Okay. Now let's see. Let's see some depth thing inside it. So as I said, security groups are going to acting as a firewall on the EC2 instances. What they're going to regulate is nothing but they're going to access to ports. As I said, port 22 for SSH and 443 for HTTPS, and what is for 80 for HTTP, stuff like that. So going with those things. So you need to access to the ports and authorize IP ranges. It has IPv4 as well as IPv6. Okay. So when we get into the what we say like security groups, why? Because I'm going to show you before going into the SSH point of view, you'll having two important IP ranges. You can have you can also have IPv4 and you also have IPv6. Right. So guys, do you know about the difference between the IPv4 and IPv6? Right, the version 4 and version 6. If it's so, then it will be easy for me.
Yeah, one is 32 bits, one is 128 bit.
Any kind of other stuff you know about what IPv4 and IPv6?
The IPv6 provide the security. It's like host level security it can provide.
I'm expecting much more deeper concept point of view, like what IPv4 and IPv6 is. Anyone? Do you know about what IPv4 and IPv6 is about it? If you don't know, please mention that. I'll also explain you. No issues. Hello. Either my voice is hearable or not.
Yes, please explain.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if I have the time last week to explain what IPv4 and IPv6. And we also have the control of inbound network. As I said, that incoming traffic to the EC2 instances. And I've written two things, no issues. And it's a control of outbound network, which is nothing but traffic which is going outside of the EC2 instances. So this is all about the security group side. And you can able to see a beautiful diagram, but somewhat it has been hidden behind my head footer. You have HTTP. Protocol is TCP, and you guys know about TCP IP protocol, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And it's a port range of 80. Source. What is the meaning of this 0.0.0.0/0? The sources.
Default. All.
Defaults. Okay. Also,
Allow
that's it.
all.
Right. So it doesn't mention like you need to have only one particular IP address. I'm going to make sure all the IP address which has a port range of 80 with the type of HTTP can able to enter into the EC2 instance. Clear so far? Now let's get into the next part. So how, like, I'm just giving you another what can I say, clear-cut understanding of with an help of a diagram. Let's say this is my computer with an IP range of this XS times, right? And I do have an authorized port of 22, which is an SSH port. Now, this is my EC2 instances with an IP. This is public IP. And I have a security group attached to the EC2 instances with an inbound rule, which should allow 22 SSH port inside into it. Only at 22. Okay. Only at 22. Okay. What happens? Nothing but this is my computer right now. Now, my computer will have an authorized port SSH2. Now, we want to access the EC2 instances. Now, the security group will check the port, whether the port is 22 is been matching or not. Yes, the port 22 is matching. Now it will allow this inbound traffic inside the EC2 instance. Now it will play around the EC2 instance and the security group, the outbound traffic, and moreover, the outbound traffic will be an any port class. They won't mention that port inside the what we say for outbound traffic. Outbound traffic will be any IP, any port. Like it doesn't depends upon whether it is going to be 22 or HTTP for 443, etc. stuff. They might be having all the ports, etc. And this is that. If I'm going to have another computer that doesn't have an authorized port of 22 and tries to access the EC2 instance, the security group will deny it. Why? Because it doesn't have an authorized port of 22. Clear? So far, so good. Now I added some more things extra to it, like what are the security groups you need to know, like some external things. First thing, the one security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instances. That's the first thing you need to know. It can be attached to multiple EC2 instances, right? And the security group is being locked down to a region. If I'm going to create a security group inside the AP South 1A, which is in Mumbai region, it does not be available to the other regions. And moreover, if you are creating a security group for one VPC, then it will not be available for the other VPCs as well. So it is locked down to a region or a VPC combination. And a very important point you need to know. The security groups will live outside the EC2, right? Let's say I'm going to have an EC2 instances. Your point of perception, a lot of people, like I've seen some people, I've already talked to them. A lot of people's perception is that the security group will be present inside the EC2 instance, inside the EC2 instance. Not like that. The security group will be not part of EC2 instance at all. It will be present at the outside of the EC2 instances. Okay, if the traffic is blocked, the EC2 instance won't see it. Why? Because the EC2 instance doesn't have any kind of communication with the security group. If either the traffic is blocked or either the traffic is blocked or not, is there any problem at the backend? It doesn't knows it about. Why? Because EC2 instance doesn't have a communication with the security group. And as a cloud practitioner and as a cloud enthusiast, I would recommend that it is good to maintain one separate security group for SSL access. Okay, to maintain so I have a one security group to associated for your SSL access if you're going to access through your secure socket shell. Okay, and if your application is not accessible, very important point, guys. If your application is not accessible, timeout, then it's a security group issue. Okay, and if your application gives a connection refuse, that means your connection has been refused, then there is an error in your application and it's not launched. Okay, try to have this difference. It is very, very, very important. If your application is not accessible, then the security group is not allowing you inside. That's the security group issue. And if the application gives you connection refuse, that's nothing but security group allows the connection, allows the traffic to access the EC2 instances. But unfortunately, the application which is present inside the EC2 instances is not proper. It is giving you something. And as I already mentioned that all inbound traffic is blocked by default and all outbound traffic is authorized by default. To make sure that to unblock all those things, we are providing the inbound security traffic with some port numbers like 22, 443, and etc. stuff. Okay, so this we need to know. And I was just telling you that security groups, like if you have an EC2 instances, right? And I'm going to attach an SD, the security group. The incoming traffic cannot only be the port, or it cannot only be from the users with some port addresses. It can also be from any other EC2 instance as well with the security groups what you have. Okay, so try to have this thing. The incoming request to the security group can not only be from the users with the port addresses, it can also be from the other EC2 instances with the security groups. That's what I have mentioned over here. I do have an EC2 instance with the security group inbound, where I'm going to having authorized security group as SD2, SD1 and SD2. I'm not going to access the authorized security group as SD3. Now, I do have two EC2 instances with security group attached, security group 2 attached, and security group 1 attached. And these, what can I say, incoming traffic can be allowed inside the EC2 instances. But if I have another EC2 instances with the security group 3 attached, since the security group 1 doesn't have an authorizing security group 3, then this port will not be what may be passed inside the EC2 instances. Okay, so far so good, right? So far so good about what EC2 instance stuff is all about, right? Like, and the security group stuff is all about, right? Please respond, because I need to know
Yes,
whether you have
yes,
understood or not.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
fine. And these are the classic ports you need to know, where we talked about some secure socket classic port, FTP, SFTP, HTTP, HTTPS, and RDP. Since you already know, I'm not gonna take a much think about it. Now it's a very, very important thing, a very, very important thing you need to know. Now, as I said, do you know, guys know about what SSH is all about?
Yes.
Give us,
Can
sir.
you
To
explain
take
it?
console,
What?
to take console of the remote connection. Okay,
Mhm.
Remote
taking a
connection.
command line, like CLI,
Okay.
just like a CLI.
To be more precise, right? To be more precise, where this SSH will work, at what
Security.
operating system SSH will work.
Win.
Mm,
You can work
custom
in
OS.
Windows.
Custom OS is there. Linux.
Okay. When you're creating your custom OS, that is nothing but the operating system which is being created by you. You can allow the SSH traffic and you can make sure that SSH will be running inside. And by default, Linux also has the SSH traffic inside of it.
Yes.
By default, SSH also done. What about Windows?
Windows. Not sure.
Have you know about a software called as Putty?
Putty. Yeah.
So Putty is the one can able to use it to Windows. But I'm now having my what can I say Windows OS only, but I'm going to use SSH. Why? Because you can able to see over here that less than Windows 10, that means operating system with less than 10 version cannot have SSH into it. But Windows version greater than 10 has an what we say SSH access to it. Okay. To be more precise, if you are using
Mm,
the Windows version less than 10, if you're going to use Windows 7 or Windows 8, stuff like that, please make sure that your SSH will not work, and you can even try type something inside your command inside a PowerShell or command prompt. Type SSH, it will not provide you as a recognized command. Why? Because it has not been accessed. In that cases, please don't try the you try the working try the POC or working stuff. What I'm going to do right now, because it will not work. Okay, and in that cases, you can install the Putty server and you can work on it. But right now, my OS version is Windows 11. I'm gonna work. So now it is being compatible to me. Either I can work with the SSH command, SSH part. Either I can work with the Putty part, or either I can also work with EC2 instance connect. I'm gonna show you the EC2 instance connect right now. After that, I'm gonna work with the SSH thing. Okay, so far so good. So right after this, we can go for the EC2 instance purchasing options. Okay. Fine.
okay.
So let's get into some hands-on because remember a lot of theory I've held it over here. So let's start working with something. Fine. So I've already terminated an EC2 instance, but I'm going to what can I say? Start the EC2 instance. Let's wait for a while. It takes some time to think. Yeah, now it's running. I'll copy this public IP. Let's check whether the IP is running good. I need to check whether it is in the CDP part. What's the security group we have attached to it? Port 80. Port 80 is HTTP, right? It is not working. Oh, I'm writing in the same thing. Okay, let's. Fine. Let's check. Let's check. Let me put it in another tab or something else. It's not working. Okay. Let's wait, or else create a new instance to work on it. Okay. Now I'm gonna go for the security groups what you have. Okay. So we already created a security group, but I wanted to show you these things. And these are the inbound rules what I've already attached to it. Okay. So you may be able to see the security group rule ID, and the port ranges is 22, which is for SSH, and 80, which is HTTP, but I don't know why it is not working. We need to work with other, what can I say? Okay, let me check with my Firefox then. The last time we checked with Firefox only, right? Why? Because the browser compatibility is very important. That's why I'm checking with Firefox. I think that might take some time to make sure that works. Fine. So these are the security groups, like I've shown you below. So these are the inbound rules, and more possibly the outbound traffic is going to be everything else what we have. Fine. So far so good, right? And you can also see in the left side panel, we can able to see the network and security, have the security group. And moreover, we do a lot of security groups which is available. We have created each and every time we are creating a new security group, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is something, but let me go for the instance with the security group ID. So this is the security group rule ID, what we have. Yes, this is the security. Yeah. So you can edit your inbound rules or edit your outbound rules over here. That's your wish. I'm going to edit the inbound rules, and you can add a rule and with the custom TCP, SSH, or all traffic, or HTTP or HTTPS. And you can add, like I'm going to add 0.00 for anywhere. So let's save the rules, and you can also work with it. And now I think so it takes much time. Fine. So you can edit your security groups, which has now it has for all those three types, which is secure socket shell, HTTP, and HTTPS. Fine so far. Okay. Now let's see. I'm gonna want to access my, what can I say, server. Okay. I need to access my server, which is nothing but what and all which is available. What can I do with the server? So what is the AMI we have choose when we are creating the demo CDP EC2 instances? Does anyone remember what is the what can I say, AMI we have created used for this thing? Any idea?
Can you come back again, Raghul?
Like what is the AMI? What is the operating system we have chosen for this particular demo CDP EC2 instance?
That's in Windows.
Now we have used the Linux 2 AMI, Linux 2023 AMI, which is in Frida AMI. We haven't used Windows over here. Okay, so let's connect it. I'm going to connect it using, like, you can just go ahead. Like what happens is nothing but I'm going to choose the checkbox over here, and I want to have an option called as connect. It will ask you an option whether you have to connect using EC2 instance connect or session manager or SSH client or EC2 instance, EC2 serial console. But I'm going to show you the EC2 instance connect and SSH client. Let's start using that EC2 instance connect right now. Let me connect the EC2 instance. So it will direct you to your demo CDP EC2 instance. Now here you go. Like you have an entire Amazon Linux operating system for you, a server which has been working for you, right? You can run any kind of Linux commands like ls, or you can also work with the present backing directory. It is an own easy to user. Why I'm more specifying it is that if you just go ahead and connect with, you do have your username as an EC2 user only, which is a custom EC2 user, which has been created by you by default as for your EC2 instances, right? Now you can create, like I'm going to create an mkdir demo, and you can ls it, you can have a demo, and you can go ahead with demo, and we can create any text. What can you do? We can just put echo txt and cat.txt, like we don't have demo.txt. So now we can ls it into it. We do have demo.txt file. So you can put demo.txt. So we do have a text inside it. So you can work now. You do have a proprietary operating system which is running inside an Elastic Compute Cloud instance. Clear so far? How we are working into it? Did you clear it? How do you use it?
Okay, but not from the command actually. You need to go
Your
through the
voice
command.
is not audible. Please try to come back again so that I can.
Yeah, the actually we are not familiar with the command. Okay, somewhat
No.
maybe the
Like,
basics one
like
which we
no,
know.
no, no. I'm not taking about the commands, but I'm saying you that now inside the demo CDP, and proprietary Linux operating system has been created and you can use it. It's a proprietary EC2, a proprietary
Yeah, yeah,
Linux operating system. So
yeah,
far, so
got
good,
it.
right? They have
Yeah,
deployed an operating system inside the EC2 instance server. So far, so good. We are now clear on it. Let's just don't what can I say? Work on the Linux commands. I'm not here to teach you the Linux commands, but I'm saying that these are some of the Linux commands basic thing. Okay, got it?
yeah. Sure, you can proceed.
Sure. Okay. Now this is an EC2 instance connect where we have worked with what may I say, you can connect to your EC2 instances using EC2 instance connect the first way. And this EC2 instance connect work with all the type of operating system, and working with Windows right now. We can work with Windows, you can work with Linux, you can work with Mac. That's not really the biggest issue. But right now, I'm gonna work with one important thing which is called as SSH access. When I created this EC2 instances, I was very keen to download one important file. Does anyone know about it? I've downloaded one file when I'm creating an EC2 instance, creating this
Key
demo
pair,
CDPs,
key
keep it,
pair file,
which is in the form of which extension?
Excel. No,
It's a .tem file,
dot temple.
file,
Yes.
and we created with an RSA keypad, which is an another encryption file. And someone is working inside, working in a networking part, right? Do you know about what RSA is, right?
Yeah, it's a secure communication channel, like uh, token or something. In the certificate,
Kind
it
of.
is used widely.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So let's you just know about the basics. It's nothing but it provides you a certification to access your CDP, like and access your what may I say, the EC2 instance. Now let's see how to use that thing too. Okay. Now I'm gonna exit it from here, and I'm gonna make sure to. I've downloaded the EC2 demo keypad.tem in here. So let's open my command prompt over here. Now let me do some basics. Let me check whether the database has been installed correctly on all the locations. Yes, it does. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to access to the EC2 instance what I've created from my command prompt, from my system, right? Using the demo keypad. That is, the command is SSH. I'm asking you to, if you want, like, what may you say, guys? So, please try to copy this command. Why? Because it will help you a lot. Like if I want to, and you also have the, I'll also send you the commands too separately if it is needed. So SSH, which stands for secure socket shell, and -i. That -i specifies that I need to, what may I say, import my temp key, which is nothing the certificate which is needed to access my EC2 instance, which is /. I've done it as EC2 demo.tem. like what I done is a dot slash. I entered capital C and I click the tab button, so it is already done. And now what you are going to do is EC2 slash user. Why? Because this is the default name given to you by the AWS itself. I'm gonna copy this public IP of the particular EC2 instance, and I'm gonna paste it over here. It will ask you for the authenticity. Why? Because .ec2 demo.pem is not have the EC like ED 25519 key fingerprint. So this is not going to be the much case. You can put yes. In a minute. Oh, it's EC2 demo.pem. It's EC2 demo keypad.pem. I already did it. Sorry. So it's EC2 demo keypad.pem and EC2 slash user at the thing. Now it's bullseye. Now we have created an SSH access where from my system, I've connected to the EC2 instances, what I already have over here. You can also double check the same EC2 instance connect what we had over there. The same thing is available. Did you check that? The same thing. Here, this is done by using EC2 instance connect, and I have done using the help of SSH access, which is secure socket. Now you can run the same command, guys. It will going to give you the same thing. So what all I have did here, the same thing will be available. Let me go ahead and go to see a demo. These are some basic commands. I'm not. You don't want to worry about it. I do have the same file. Let me print the thing. Text what I've given over here. The same thing is available. Clear, guys? Is it okay for you?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And for the error, what was happened for the last PEM key, right? You can work on with this thing. Like this is the key. What you can do is a thing, but you can go for the properties and you can check for the security. And the security should not be given to everyone. What you can do is a thing, but you can go for the advanced and you can change the security over here. Okay. Instead of having the owner, you can change the owner for the particular demo.pem and you can start working. It will not work. Why? Because as I said, when you're connecting to your EC2 instances using SSH or connecting to your EC2 instances using your computer CLI, you are supposed to be very, very careful and you're supposed to be very, very protected. That's why the PEM key should be only authorized only for the person who are using, not for everyone inside that particular system itself. Why? Because inside your laptop or inside your system might be, you can have more than one user. It should be accessible only to the user who are using the card. Okay? Got it, guys? Got it so far? Is there any doubts you are supposed to ask to me before entering into the next part of this class?
Yes, Rahul.
Sure. Okay. Now let me do something. I'll stop the instance because it may cost my money. Let's stop. Let's go ahead and okay. So far we have talked a lot about EC2 instances, right? So we talked a lot about it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do much more. As I said, for each and every pricing option, we do have a lot of different types of EC2 instances. We talked a lot of different types of EC2 instances based on the use cases. Like we talked about general optimized, like general compute optimized, memory optimized, storage optimized stuff, and for HPC, other stuff also we talked about it. But when you're going, like as I said, for particular use cases, I need to have one EC2 instance at this particular point of time. So I don't want, so that your cost can be optimized. That's the very important thing we are supposed to work on it, right? Your cost can be optimized. So how can you work on it? So how can you work on it? Let's see. So these are the EC2 instances purchasing option, which is available. Okay, I'll go with each and everything, and I'll also show you some, what may say, some use cases. What I have it at the downs, I have it at the down, but unfortunately, one of the thing is not available. But I'll show you that thing. I'll also work on it. Okay, so first and foremost thing is all about that the EC2 instance purchasing option. There are different plans available for you as you are, and like as you're going to work inside the AWS, right? So as you're going to work inside AWS, and moreover, you're going to work for the customers. Like if you're handling any customer, if you want, like, what can you say, make sure to provide us the deadliest offer as you can. Okay, deadliest offer as you can. But so yeah, even like some of the person who's working in a bank, they would say, give me a best pricing option you can do it for the account what we're gonna work. If I want to transfer my account from like from platinum, from gold to platinum, what are all the advantages? How can I redeem the cost? What are all the offers available for this card? Like debit card, there will be a lot of debit cards. There will be platinum debit card. There will be gold debit card, etc., stuff. So he will be pushing a lot of stuff in such a way that he needs to provide a best option to his customer for his particular use case what they're working on. In the same way, AWS has to provide a best option for you since you're using the EC2 instances. Why? Because you do have a lot of use cases available. So for each and every use case, you don't want to use the same, what can I say, predominantly general EC2 instances. You need to go ahead with some other plans what is already available to make sure that it will give you a huge cost redemption as well as it provides you a lot of discount offers stuff or like that. Okay, let's go ahead with this thing. First thing is all about the on-demand instances. Okay, on-demand instances will be providing a short workload, predictable pricing, and pay by second. Okay, which is like on demand is nothing but which is needed in on demand. Right now, if let's say Rahul, like I'm gonna run an easy, I need an EC2 instances, right? Which is needed right now, right? But I'm not gonna use it much. I'm not gonna use it for the biggest thing. What I'm gonna, if I'm gonna biggest web server kind of stuff like that, I'm gonna use it only for the short workload. If I'm gonna use it only for the short services. So for that thing, I can go ahead for the on-demand instances where I can able to predict the prices what I can, right? If you like, let's say you're gonna like, let's say the Amazon shopping, like Amazon shopping website. It is a huge one. Like there are a lot of service behind. They may be, so they are incorporated with a lot of other, what can I say, proprietary purchasing marks, etc., stuff they have. So for those things, on-demand instances will not work. Why? Because it's a huge portion like of data and stuff like that. We can't able to predict price at the thing, and you can also pay by second. Okay, so for those kind of things, on-demand instances will not work for the use cases where I need it right now, so that it's a short workload. I need to put it over there, and I have to use it. So for those use cases, you can opt for the on-demand instances.